Doug is, I know, meeting with Mark. And then he's going to come down and talk to us today, but he's going to meet with Mark and discuss what's going on. So it'll be, I don't know if it'll be a week or a few days or what it'll be.
Is this an uncomfortable feeling? I mean, for you, you're under contract for your coaches. As far as we know, none of them are beyond next month. How uncomfortable a feeling is that?
Yeah, it's always uncomfortable when you're not sure what's going to happen.
How do you think you did this year?
I think me personally,
yeah, just
I worked my tail off. I did the best that I thought I could do. I'm always wanting to do things better and get better at what I do. And sometimes it helps to have conversations afterward on what myself or as a group that we need to do better. So it's part of you do the best you can do, and you know when you're a manager that sometimes if it doesn't go well, that you're the guy that's going to get blamed for it.
What are some of those things you think you need to do better?
I don't think there is anything that I can just come up with that I need to do better. There are things without a doubt, but there are little things here and there that you listen and you think about. You think maybe you can do better, but when we're talking about trying to figure out what happened this season at the end, we've talked about everything, and I can't give an answer on what happened. You can, like I told you guys yesterday, you can point to what happened, but the why is what we really need to figure out.
I mean, is it possible you might not figure out why? I mean,
well, sure. I mean, there's been a lot of teams I've been on through the years that you can't figure out why sometimes you do so well also. It's not always the negative part. It's, the beginning of the season, we were winning a lot of ball games, and I was coming in and saying, how did we win that game? Because we weren't, maybe we made a few miscues. We were getting away with some things, but we were winning. And you come in and you go, wow.
Your offense covered you back then, though. You go back, you had like that road trip to Philly and Boston. You scored a ton of them.
We did.
And your offense hasn't covered any mistakes in the last 5
No, we
years.
haven't. No. So
you know what? If you win 8-5 and you have base running mistakes or field mistakes, it hardly even gets brought up.
Right.
When you lose 2-1, everything's magnified 10 ways to Tuesday.
Why it is.
And you've been losing like that for weeks.
Yes.
Well-pitched games, not enough runs.
Yeah.
An odd mistake here or there. A guy forgets how many outs there are. A guy makes a base running mistake. And all of a sudden it's like blown up.
Right.
And
Yeah, when you don't score a lot of runs, it's always down to a small thing. What did we do wrong somewhere? Did we give somebody an opportunity to score another run because we didn't make a play? Did we not bunt a guy over to try to get that one run? All the little things come into play, and it's easy to see what happened in a game when it's 2-1, 1-0. It's pretty easy to see what could have gone wrong in those games.
I mean, we probably don't know any fundamental mistakes the Angels have made the last 2 months because every night they score 8 runs.
Yeah, and you're right. That's what's talked about. You guys bash the ball again, and the error or the double play they didn't turn, it gets overlooked.
Footnote.
Yeah, it does, and that's. But again, that's part of this game, and it's part of our job to try to figure out with the personnel that we have. How do we not make, if we're losing those games, how do we not make those mistakes? And if we're winning the games, what are we doing right to get us to win those one-run games? Because even when we were swinging the bat well, it wasn't like the games were 6-2 or 6-1. They were still close. That's why I just had Will Smith in there earlier. That's why Will Smith had so many appearances. If games were blown apart, Frankie, they wouldn't have been in all these games. They were in the games because they were all close. So I know we were swinging the bat better, but they were still really close games. Now, what were we doing well in those games to help us win those?
Well, your ERA was actually higher in the first half, so you were maybe probably giving up more runs. Not a lot, but more to make the games closer.
We must have been if we were scoring more and the games were still close.
I mean, instead of 2-1, it was 5-3. It's still a save situation. It's still a setup situation. The score's just different.
Yeah.
When you have your conversations with Ron, do you feel like you're sort of interviewing for the job again based on what happened?
No, I don't feel like an interview. Just we'll see what happens, and you work hard at this job and you put the effort into it, and you want to be appreciated for what you do.
Are you gonna give Mark and Doug more credit than to make a change just to make a change? Because, they announced yesterday Doug's coming back, and you know how fans are. They want, like, somebody fired, so it's not gonna be him. Are you worried about him just changing the furniture just so that the fans think that they're upset?
I can't make a comment that way.
Okay.
Yeah, because that's. I think we'll try to make. I think you always try to improve on what you're doing. If they think that I'm not doing the job that I should be doing, then they try to make an improvement. And the same way goes with the coaches. Same way goes with the players. If there are some things that we can do different with the players in improving this, then we need to do it. If it's taking the same personnel of the players and working with them and trying to get them better, then that's what we have to do. And we do have to do something. We can't fall on a skid this long offensively and not fear that we need to try to do something a little different. And I know that you guys have heard me say it a lot of times, that the first pitch swinging, we may have scored a lot of runs early because of it, but it hasn't obviously worked here in the last whatever. So that's something that needs to be addressed. And can everybody be a little better in it? Yes. Guys can't go from first pitch swingers to 100 walks a year. I don't think that happens. But we can all get better at what we do, the players included, me included.
Do you have a list already of other areas you think that could be improved, or are you still in kind of the evaluation? I mean, I know you're still managing games here. Do you need some time to kind of evaluate what you think needs to happen?
Yeah, I think after the season's over, even though we have had meetings and talked about it, we haven't got in depth yet, and we need to do that.
You typically will do a road trip home. Is that the plan again this year?
I'm not driving home this year, so I'll stay here a couple days. I know Doug is going out to meet with Mark, and so I'll get back there and figure out things.
You think he'll give you any type of time frame of when they're going to make a decision on you? I mean,
well, I don't know. I guess I have to go about it as I'm under contract, so I don't know if that's different than the coaches would be.